Sidekicks is brought to you by Pace Setter Soccer Club. Soccer excellence since 1980.
Oh, it is another season, and I could not be happier to welcome back to Sidekicks. On my left, his name is Francis Stevens. You've coached for just about every school in the area. You got a new one this year. Now Northview soccer assistant coach, St. Francis alum. Thank you so much for being here. And not wearing pants again, so we're used to things some don't ever change. There's Francis. On my right over here on the other side, head coach of the St. Ursula Arrows, Chris Black, still has a job. We're happy to see him back out on the field and in the studio. Thank you for coming back, Chris Black. I heard a rumor you guys were here without me last week. That is not allowed. Let's try to stop that from happening.
Felt wrong.
Okay, here we go. So first games are in the books. The Friday Night Football, a resounding success across the state. Let's talk with the boys first. So we turn our focus over here to Francis. Francis, let's focus on the season. I don't want to look back to the games that were played. I want to focus on the season here. Coming out of the boys, who do we have as the favorites here in Northwest Ohio?
Well, it's got to be Anthony Wayne, obviously, with the amount of kids they got back, and they just added probably one of the better players in the area. And Caleb Gibbons, former St. John's player, was at Hargrave Military Academy. Now he's back home at Anthony Wayne. So he's going to add a little bit of fuel to the fire with Zach Moak up there. There's also Xavier Panaya. And also in that midfield, you know, Bryce Ulrich and Tucker Ramirez in the mix. And they got good defending at the back with Max Rivera, Austin Sizzler. And they got three goalkeepers that are well over 6 foot tall. So that could be a pretty issue when you have three guys on varsity right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how well they play. But, you know, Brian Billings, this could be his year. I mean, obviously, this is a year right now where, you know, it's wide open for anybody, but this could be the year for the Generals this year.
And he's got a stylish pink penny, which is amazing. His fourth season for Brian Billings. And they don't have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 16 seniors back this year, and including this guy, as you mentioned, Caleb Gibbons, played at St. John's a couple of years ago, played at Hargrave Military Academy, but back in his home district, and he could not be happier, and they're looking for a state title.
Oh, we are excited. Ever since we were younger, I was here since freshman year, and then I transferred obviously to St. John's. We've been talking about this ever since our freshman year. We've been talking about that state championship because we have so much depth and we have so much chemistry with the team, and we have a chance. We do.
Our big goal this year is state championship. None of us are hiding it either. We all go out and practice hard every day. Everyone here has the same common goal in mind, so we're really raring to go here.
We move over to the girls. Chris Black, your thoughts. Now, you're head coach at St. Ursula. We always preface by saying that. Your thoughts on the girls in their area.
Yes, fair enough. Obviously, we think Toledo St. Ursula is in that mix that we have been for the last, 20 years, except for a couple of years I really did a bad job. But the favorites at Toledo St. Ursula obviously just won the Bishop Cup this past weekend, and the co-champions with Toledo Notre Dame, which leads me to the other favorite in the area. I think at the top are two Catholic schools, St. Ursula, Toledo Notre Dame, which leads to huge last game of the regular season matchup. And then also on top of that, Perrysburg, Sylvania Southview.
You got Chip Smith. I mean, he's your adversary.
Regional Coach of the Year as well last year for Team Snap.
Some of the standouts for them?
Lexa Bauer. I mean, she was phenomenal this weekend at the Bishop's Cup as well as a center back. Super athletic, controlled the back line, everything in the air. Obviously, the goalkeeper, the Abby Snyder last year, who also won some awards with Team Snap in the state, and Ashley Barron. Very dangerous, lengthy player with a whole lot of speed. And then, obviously, every year you have to have that infusion of youth. We'll see which freshman can step up and make that jump.
Let's hear from the Eagles.
I think our young kids were able to get a lot of experience last year as freshmen and sophomores. I think an experienced team is important, especially when you're in this part of the state with so many good teams. So I think our experience is certainly a positive, but it's a new team too. So sometimes the experience doesn't always translate. So we're trying to I still think feel our way a little bit, but we like our senior class. Their experience. Most of those girls are 3-4 year varsity starters. So I think that it is a positive for us for sure.
I think that every team in the track league is just kind of out for blood, I guess. Obviously our biggest rival would be St. Ursula, but everyone within the track kind of has a pretty intense rival, and every year it's a good game. Every track game is pretty much a battle, for lack of better words. So that's always very fun, and it's good to be a part of a conference that's so competitive.
Chris Black, head coach of St. Ursula, Francis Stevens, assistant coach over at Northview. They are the Sidekicks, and we want to thank Pace Center for joining us once again. We will see you next week.